The most powerful romantic attractions are often built on a foundation of anxiety. The relationships that feel the most like destiny are frequently engineered by the same principle that makes you pull the lever on a slot machine. This mechanism creates a connection so intense it can feel like a soulmate bond, when in reality, it's a biochemical addiction. And chances are, you've mistaken its effects for true love, without ever realizing you were playing a game you were designed to lose. Imagine a pigeon in a cage. In front of it is a small lever. The first pigeon gets a food pellet every single time it pecks the lever. Predictable. After a while, it only pecks when it's hungry. The system is reliable, so there's no urgency. The second pigeon gets nothing. It pecks the lever a few times, realizes it's useless, and gives up entirely. The third pigeon is where things get interesting. It gets a food pellet randomly. Sometimes it pecks once and gets a reward. Sometimes it pecks 100 times and gets nothing. There is no pattern. This third pigeon becomes obsessed. It will peck the lever compulsively, frantically, ignoring everything else. It becomes addicted to the lever. This is intermittent reinforcement, and it's one of the most powerful behavioral drivers ever discovered. This simple experiment with pigeons explains the frantic, obsessive energy that can take over our lives. But the lever in our world is a person, and the pellet is something we crave even more than food. The currency we're talking about is dopamine. For years, it was called the pleasure molecule. That's a fundamental misunderstanding. Dopamine is the molecule of motivation. It's the chemical of seeking, of anticipation. Your brain releases a flood of dopamine in response to the possibility of a reward, far more than the reward itself. A guaranteed $100 feels good. The lottery ticket that might be worth $100 million feels electric. The certainty is satisfying. The uncertainty is intoxicating. In a relationship, this system gets hijacked. A partner who is consistently loving and available provides a steady, reliable drip of affirmation. It's healthy, it's secure. A partner who provides affection intermittently puts your brain on a dopamine roller coaster. The text message that gets an instant, warm reply one day and is left on read for 12 hours the next creates a massive spike of anticipatory dopamine. You're waiting for the pellet. The phone becomes the lever. You check it compulsively. The rush you get when they finally reply isn't just relief. It's a chemical reward that reinforces the entire cycle of seeking. The brain learns that the only way to get this intense feeling is to endure the uncertainty. It begins to crave the uncertainty itself. The slot machine doesn't work because you love the pictures of cherries. It works because the near misses, the possibility of the next pull being the jackpot, keep your brain hooked on the game. But when the jackpot is a person's affection, the stakes become infinitely higher. This cycle shifts your entire focus. Your cognitive resources, your thoughts, your daydreams all become dedicated to a single project, trying to figure out the pattern. You start replaying conversations. You scrutinize their tone of voice. You analyze every text message, every emoji, looking for the key that will unlock the consistent reward. Have you ever found yourself scrolling back through old, happy messages from the beginning of a relationship? You're looking for data. You're trying to remember the person you were, the thing you said, the behavior you performed that resulted in affection. You're trying to crack the code to make the machine pay out again. You change your behavior, you walk on eggshells, you become more agreeable, you try being more distant. You are turning yourself into a behavioral scientist with a sample size of 1, desperately searching for a cause and effect relationship that simply isn't there. The unpredictability is the whole point. While you're consumed by this project, the rest of your life goes out of focus. Your work suffers. Your friendships wither. Your own sense of self begins to erode because your validation system has been outsourced to a completely unreliable source. The entire architecture of your mind is now oriented around the other person. This immense mental and emotional investment creates a powerful illusion. The brain abhors a vacuum of meaning. It will create a story to explain the data. And the story it creates in this situation is one of profound, epic love. Your mind misinterprets the constant anxiety, the gut-wrenching lows, and the dizzying euphoric highs as evidence of a deep, passionate connection. The logic is simple. If I feel this strongly, if I'm this invested, if I'm willing to endure this much pain for the good moments, then this must be the real thing. It must be worth it. The struggle becomes the proof of the love's importance. This is the great delusion of the trauma bond. The intense relief you feel when they finally give you a crumb of affection is so powerful that it retroactively justifies all the pain that came before it. You remember the peaks, not the crippling average. You're climbing a mountain every day just to get a brief, breathtaking view, forgetting that healthy relationships are supposed to feel like coming home. You're attributing the intensity of your own dopamine withdrawal and relief cycle to the specialness of the other person. They are the source of your pain and the only one who can relieve it. That creates a bond that can feel stronger and more meaningful than any stable, secure attachment ever could. Because it's not an attachment, it's a cage. So who builds this cage? It's easy to imagine a master manipulator, a calculating narcissist who has read a psychology textbook and is consciously using these techniques to control you. And those people certainly exist. They use cycles of idealization and devaluation, future faking and stonewalling to deliberately create this addictive dynamic. It gives them a sense of power and control. They keep you hooked on the hope of returning to the initial love bombing phase, a phase they never intended to maintain, but something else is far more common. Often, the architect of this uncertainty is trapped in their own machine. Someone with an avoidant attachment style, for example, genuinely craves connection but is terrified of true intimacy. When you get close, their internal alarm system goes off and they pull away. They become cold, distant, unavailable. Once you retreat, their fear subsides and their desire for connection returns. They pull you back in. They create the hot and cold cycle, not as a strategy, but as an uncontrollable oscillation of their own fear. They aren't playing a game with you. They are living out a program they can't escape. They are giving you intermittent reinforcement because they themselves are only intermittently available for connection. The outcome for you is identical. The addiction is the same. The pain is the same. Recognizing this is crucial. It moves the problem from a story of good versus evil into a story of mechanics and systems. And you can't fix a system by appealing to the good intentions of one of its broken parts. Breaking free from this dynamic requires a radical shift in perspective. You can't win the game, so you have to stop playing. The addiction is fed by the hope that you can figure out the pattern, that if you just try harder, say the right thing, or become the right kind of person, you can fix the inconsistency and secure the love you crave. The first step is to abandon that hope entirely. You have to accept the pattern for what it is. The inconsistency is the pattern. The chaos is the system. Stop analyzing their behavior and start observing your own. Observe the frantic checking of your phone. Observe the way your mood for an entire day is determined by a single text message. Observe the mental gymnastics you perform to justify their coldness. Look at the data. See the machine at work in your own mind. The second step is to change your metric of evaluation. An addicted brain judges the relationship by its peaks. The moments of reunion, the apologies, the sudden flashes of intense affection. You must force yourself to judge the relationship by its average, by the long, anxious hours spent waiting, by the days of silence, by the constant low-grade stress of never knowing where you stand. The average is the reality. The peaks are the bait. When you begin to starve the addiction of its hope, your brain will scream. It will feel like you are leaving the most important relationship of your life. It will tell you that the quiet of a stable connection is boring, that security lacks passion. This is the withdrawal. The peace will feel foreign. It will feel empty. Your dopamine system has been conditioned to equate chaos with love and calm with absence. You have to retrain it. You have to learn to find the beauty in predictability, in the text that gets answered, in the partner who is the same person Tuesday as they were on Saturday, in the quiet confidence that comes from knowing you are valued consistently, not as a jackpot, but as a baseline. The opposite of this addictive love isn't hate. It's a quiet, steady peace. And learning to sit in that quiet, to find comfort in its stability, is the moment you realize you're finally free. This mechanism is so powerful, it explains why we sometimes unconsciously push away healthy partners. We've been trained on the slot machine, and a reliable partnership feels like a game that's no fun to play, which is an entirely different kind of cage.